Okay. Yeah, boy, that was weird. Okay. I am figuring out some things today. I don't know why there's so many options on YouTube for us to get ourselves into trouble with. But welcome to Happy Crappy Hour. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. So glad to have you on today. We have a few things going on today. Let me see if I am even doing this right. I hope I am. Okay, this should be good. Okay, great. I see some people are starting to get on. Thank you so much for joining us. I was setting up a live stream, but for some reason it was going to do screen capture. I don't know. I don't know what all this stuff is, but welcome. And I hope that we are going to have a great discussion today because it has to do with something, excuse me, has to do with something I have seen happen quite a lot in comments where people tend to unload their hatred onto the news supply. And I have to wonder about that because what is going on with that? Why are people so hating on the news supply that they are, oh, you guys, let me see if I am doing something actually incorrect here. So hold the phone. Oh, okay, I'm back. So let me start with what Happy Crappy Hour is for those who are joining us. It's to talk about what's going well in our week, which is the happy, and what is not going well in our week, which is the crappy. So we're going to learn about, the things that go well, we want to keep doing. The things that are not going well, the crappies, right? We want to stop doing. And one of those crappies really is the jealousy and hatred towards the new supply. We have to figure out why is it that we get to that point where we feel, we need to unload this anger and angst and frustration onto somebody. And the obvious target is going to be the new supply. Well, you guys, let me see if somehow I am confusing people by having two live streams in queue and oh, great. You guys are coming on because I was wondering if maybe I messed it up because I have this other weird live stream that's in queue. I don't know. Anyway, it's nuts. I'm going to have to delete that other live stream that's in queue, but this is the real one. So welcome. So glad to see you guys coming on. Today's topic is really something we need to address. We absolutely need to address it because it's something we all have dealt with. If your ex had moved on with a new supply, usually, right, immediately right after they've left you. Now, it might be that they didn't have this new supply in their line before they left you, but most likely they did. Most likely they were already cheating with the new supply before they left you because these toxic people are very insecure and they need a landing spot before they leave a secure area, right? So our tendency, though, is then to focus on the new supply. And especially because if we're talking to the narcissist, they're going to give excuses for why they went to the new supply, how much better the new supply is, how more accepting, how much more loving, how much whatever it is that the new supply is giving to them at this point, right? Hey, Measure Twice, good to see you again. It's been a while. And from Houston, that's awesome. Good to see you. Yeah, today we're talking about why we're feeling jealous of the new supply and what that does to us. And let me you know what, if you guys can give me about 20 seconds to run and grab a notebook. My chairs are not moving very well. I will be right back. Do not leave. Talk amongst yourselves. Say hello to each other. I'll be right back. Oh, okay, here we are. I'm back. Hey, I'm so glad. C. Thomas says, for me, the new supply was lined up months before he left. Yes, right? Exactly. And, even more reason for us to hate the new supply because they're cheating on a taken person, on a married person or someone who's already, who's still living with their partner, you, right? your toxic ex was still living with you when they were cheating with the narcissist on you, right? And so many good reasons for us to hate the new supply. So many good reasons for us to blame the new supply, that they stole the narcissist from us, that they tempted the narcissist away, all this stuff, right? That's where our mind tends to go. We're going to want to blame. And not just that, I think a big part of the blame is that honestly, we're jealous. We're jealous that this person is getting this attention now from the narcissist. We're jealous that the new supply is getting the life that we thought we would have. You know, if they moved on immediately and married the new supply and started having children with the new supply, or bought that house you've always wanted with the new supply, things that they didn't do with you, obviously we're going to start to feel jealous of the new supply. But here's the deal. Crazily enough, we're deflecting the true blame that should go towards the narcissist. You know, the blame that truly should be going towards the narcissist, we're putting it onto the new supply because you may be still harboring love or affection or, you know, yearning for your ex. You're missing your ex, and it's so much easier than, you know, to then blame the new person coming in that you don't have a history with, that someone that you haven't had any interaction or love for, right? So here's the deal though. When we do that, we are being triangulated. Whether we realize it or not, we are being triangulated. Whether the narcissist is intentionally triangulating you or not, you pull yourself into the love triangle, right? Okay, even if you've been discarded and the narcissist wants nothing to do with you and is ghosting you and paying only attention to the new supply, you pull yourself into this triangle by the jealousy that you feel towards the new supply. You try to undermine the new supply, you try to spread rumors or whatever, maybe not even real, you know, rumors. They may be truths about the new supply, but you're spreading gossip about the new supply. You are connecting yourself back in with the two of them. But people are going to see this in a different light than you think. You might think you come out looking good. You come out looking like the victim. You come out looking like the one who had been wronged. But if you triangulate yourself into the two with the two of them, even though the narcissist has closed the door and has walked away and cut all ties, you're going to make things worse for yourself. And that's why I want to talk about this today. I want to talk about it because I want to make sure that you guys don't fall into this trap and hurt yourself further, okay? I'm going to say hi to some of you guys here. This is awesome to see you coming on. Lady Bobannon, hi. Also from Houston, nice. Born and bred. That's cool. Measure Twice says that's always their strategy. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes, yeah, for them to have a place to go before they move on from you, you know, usually they're cheating already. Usually they're lining up new supply and grooming them before they leave you, because they need to know that they're going to be able to bring in somebody into their bed right away, right, to comfort them and give them the things that they want now that you're not there anymore for them. Yeah, it's, you know, it's really easy to hate the new supply. And I've been, you know, watching some of the, of course, if you know me at all, you know, I'm watching crime shows, and I watch these crime shows where, you know, the husband comes back and kills the lover, or the wife, you know, they attack the new wife. And I'm thinking, why are you doing that? Why are you and of course they destroy their own life by doing that, because they could not let go of their jealousy. That is the extreme, right? That is the extreme that people will go to when they have been jilted, when they have been betrayed. They will go to that point where they just lose their freaking mind and think and blame the new supply, the new wife, the new husband, or the person that the husband or wife are cheating with, right? the mistress, or I don't even know what you call the guy who's the mistress, right? But um, yeah, they tend to, if you stay in that dark place, you can see yourself get to that point, and that is so destructive to you. That will destroy your life, your future, your freedom, and I don't want that to happen. It is psychological warfare inside of your own head. And that the good news is you are in control of that, not the new supply. The new supply is not in control of what is going on in your head. Neither is the narcissist. Now, they can be messing with you and smearing you. They could be flaunting their new relationship all over social media. They could be walking past your work, or, when they see you, they suddenly start making out right in front of you. They could pull all of this stuff, and yet you are still in control of what's going on in your head. All right. And that's what I want you to focus on today. And we're going to get to a few things that you have to think about or consider when you catch yourself feeling very angry towards the new supply or very jealous towards the new supply. Okay. So let's see what you guys are talking about right here before we go on to that. C. Thomas says, that's the hard part for me to deal with today. Yeah, right. Says, I do feel jealous at one point. She knew we were together. Yeah. See, that's the thing, there's so many good reasons, real reasons, valid reasons for us to hate the new supply, all right? I'm not saying it's not valid for you to hate them or to be jealous of them. What I want you to understand is, will this jealousy destroy you or will it help you? And jealousy does not help. It just doesn't. It destroys people. It destroys people from the inside out because it's mental. It's a mental minefield, okay? And if you get caught there, you're going to get hurt there. So, see, Thomas, I really want to address that today. Crystal Jean, excuse me, I have a little bit of an allergy cough. Says, hi, everyone. Crappy, I'm really sick, but it means I can be here today with you all. So that's happy. Oh, yes. So your crappy is that you're sick. But I'm glad you're here. A good way to turn a crappy into a happy. That's great. John Bailey, good morning. Measure Twice says, it's natural to feel jealous, and that is the narc's goal. But awareness will get you out of the jealousy. Yes. Jihad, good morning. Yeah. Let me see here. Crystal says, why do these women think they're getting a good man when he cheat on his spouse and possibly family, right? They all abandon the family for the mistress. I don't even get it. Obviously, he's a slime ball. Yes, right? There have been people who've written in and said the same type of thing, Crystal. They were, let me see, I was reading a comment yesterday that, I can't remember if it was yesterday, but a couple of days ago. Well, it was written a couple of days ago and I just read it yesterday, but it was about, a viewer not blaming the us, the ex, but they're blaming, they kind of are, they're saying the same thing you are, like, how could, well, actually, no, they're not blaming the ex. They're blaming the new supply to say, how in the world can someone fall for this, right? How can the new supply fall for such a slime ball? I'm sorry, so I had that wrong. They were not blaming the ex. They were blaming the new supply and saying the same thing you were, which is when the new supply sees this person is willing to cheat with me, and you've heard this, if they're willing to cheat with you, they're going to cheat on you, okay? So be careful of that when you're getting attached to somebody who is cheating on their spouse, cheating on their lovers or lover, cheating on the person they're living with, right? Cheating on their partner with you because you excite them for that moment. Now, why would you take them in? Well, because the same reason we fell for them, right? The same reason, because we were excited by them. We were drawn to them. They were love bombing us. They were giving us attention and letting us know they need us. People have a desire, and a deep desire, to be seen, wanted, and desire. Did I say desired? Yeah, seen, desired, and wanted or needed, right? And the narcissist hones in on that. They know how to reach that part of you where you feel significant when you're around them. You feel alive when you're around them. And that's what's going on with the new supply. The new supply thinks that the new supply is the rescuer. The new supply is this ultimate soulmate to the narcissist. The new supply thinks that they are the only one that truly understands the narcissist and can give the narcissist what you couldn't give them. So, of course, they're going to feel extremely extraordinary and significant, and they're going to feel needed, they're going to feel desired. So that's why the new supply stays with the narcissist. I know we tend to want to still blame the new supply for being so blind and stupid and ignorant and hypocritical, right? Because they're cheating on you with your ex, and or they're helping your ex cheat on you while they were not your ex, obviously, right? And yet they blame you for being the bad person. Like, what the heck? No, you're the bad person for being the mistress. You're the bad person for being the guy sleeping with a married woman, you know. And yet they'll blame the ex because they only hear the narcissist side. They only hear the excuses from the narcissist, right? Why the narcissist has to sneak around behind your back, or why the narcissist is not fulfilled by you because you're such a horrible person. This is the story that the new supply is getting. The same story that we got, by the way. The exact same story that we got. You guys, there's some more comments here that I want to read, and then we'll continue on. It says, I think Crystal makes a good point here. I made excuses for him. So stupid. I realize now, well, obviously, she wasn't a very moral person. He used her too. Yeah, exactly. Even though that we know that the new supply is not necessarily the most moral, although the narcissist, the narcissist gets you wrapped into their web of fantasy and deceit, okay? The narcissist gets you to believe that you are extra spiritual, you're extra moral, you're super kind, you're just a superhuman being, right? And so that's why the new supply thinks that they are being moral by rescuing this person from a horrible relationship, from a damaging or hurtful or painful or abusive relationship. Because remember, even though you are suffering from narcissistic abuse at the hands of the narcissist, the narc is going to tell the new supply that they are being abused by you. Yeah, you're the abuser. This is the story that they tell the new supply. So of course the new supply feels like they're so altruistic to come in and love this person and care for this person and give them, kindness and unconditional love, which obviously you were not able to give them, right? That's the story, you guys. Oh my gosh, it is such absolute crazy town, right? It spins you on your head. So Crystal is right. We accept their excuses for the previous relationship. That's why we get involved with them. We think that we're the only one that's better for them or best for them. So yeah, let me see here. Jihad says, yes, I agree. She is his problem now. Be happy someone came and took that headache away from you. Exactly. I just wanted to tell you that's the healthiest way to see the new supply. Even though they're being paraded around and on the arm of your ex, right? And you think they're going on these, weekend getaways, and they're going to all these parties or out to dinner or happy hours or whatever they're doing. And they're taking pictures, of course, of themselves, just, living it up and buying a new car, getting ready for the new baby, whatever it is. you have to realize that the new supply has it worse than you, because they, oh, my favorite analogy to this is the gypsy curse, that that it takes somebody else to come by in order to remove that gypsy curse from you, right? It takes some, the gypsy curse has to be given to somebody else. Not that I believe in a gypsy curse, but it has to be given to somebody else for you to get rid of it from yourself. And that is what the new supply is. I totally agree with Jihad and John here. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see, you guys. Definitely want to stay up with you today because this is kind of an easy flowing subject. There aren't multiple points to it, but there's a lot of insight we can gain from each other discussing it. So I want to continue to discuss this. Crystal says, I am a little jealous of the beginning phases though. As awful as I realize that is, he draws out the love bombing for quite a while. He's good at it. Yes, yes. And you know what? It's okay to admit it. Like, just say to yourself, instead of redirecting your jealousy, here's another really good tip, by the way. A lot of times we refuse to admit that we're jealous. We just won't, right? Because it's a weakness. It really is to say, oh, I'm jealous. You'd rather just hate the person and point at all their flaws and say, this is why I hate them, because they're a cheater, because they're uglier than I am, or because they're out of shape, or because they're broke, or because, we just come up with whatever reason. And we make excuses or reasons. We come up with reasons to hate them, right? Or to criticize them. But the reality is we're jealous. And it's okay to say that. You don't have to say it to other people, but admit it to yourself. And here's the deal. Once you admit that to yourself, you can overcome it. It's not so, you don't have to hide it anymore from yourself. You don't have to bury it in your mind or in your heart, because if you bury it in your mind or in your heart and you avoid the truth, the fact that you're jealous, then it stays, because then you just continue to build and build all the reasons why you hate this person, and you cling to all these reasons in order to protect and hide the jealousy. Don't protect and hide the jealousy. Admit that you are like, oh, I hated that. Yeah, I'm jealous because, that used to be me. He or she used to treat me that way. They used to say that I was their soulmate. They used to say that I was the most handsome or most beautiful or funniest or the best thing that ever happened to them. They used to say that to me. And once you say that out loud or admit that to yourself, it's sort of like, okay, I can accept that. I can accept the fact that I used to be the number one priority to this narcissist, or the focus, right? I used to be the one that they love bombed. I used to be the one that they are doing all the things they're doing to the new supply now. Once you start to see that, you're like, oh, wait a minute. There's nothing to be jealous of here. I had received some of this already. Now, you may not be receiving the marriage. You may not be receiving the child, right? You may not be receiving the house they just bought or a new car, but all those things tie the new supply more to the narcissist. It's going to be even harder for that new supply to get out of the pit once the narcissist discards them, or while the narcissist is abusing them. It's going to be so much harder for them to leave. So we are still so far ahead. We got rid of the gypsy curse. Oh my gosh, right? You have to see it that way. It was a gypsy freaking curse. So Miss Miller says, how do they jump so easily into a relationship with a stranger after leaving a marriage, acting like I didn't exist? Ah, Miss Miller, yes. I'll talk about that in a second. Let me have a sip of my drink. They jump into another relationship and with a stranger because, okay, first of all, the narcissist is a child. They exaggerate in their own minds the new person that comes into their life, okay? The new person that comes into their life and gives them a little bit of attention or pets their ego a little bit, right? They're suddenly going to blow this person up into this magnanimous, altruistic, wonderful, most amazing, most perfect person ever in their life, because they think this person is taking them at their worst, if you will, as they're leaving the marriage, right? They're going to act as if, or deceive themselves into believing that the new supply is somehow stronger, more stable, more just more desirable than you were, for one, and or more desirable than others around them. So they're going to suddenly latch on to this new supply. They're going to latch on this stranger because they cannot exist apart from other people. Narcissists are horrible at existing apart from other people. They need to have their ego pet. They need to have they need to be affirmed all the time, because narcissists are very insecure. So they need to have somebody giving them that security, right, about themselves. Need someone to be praising them and telling them how wonderful they are, and how perfect they are, or how jilted they were by you. They weren't the problem, you were the problem. That's the world the narcissist lives in. And whoever plays a part in that world to sustain that world, they will take in immediately. Remember, they're a child. They trust where they shouldn't trust. And not that they actually become a victim of that, but what happens is, when they're done with that new supply, then they're done with trusting them too. They're done with everything with that new supply. That new supply will mean nothing to them, even though they made all this fantasy up about the new supply, about how wonderful, amazing, perfect they are, right? For the narcissist, or for that toxic ex you have. Once they're done with that, once they're on their feet and they feel good about themselves, then they're going to start seeing flaws. And it doesn't even take that much for them to start seeing flaws in the new supply. They're going to start berating the new supply. They're going to start criticizing the new supply. They're going to say, how come you're doing this? My ex never did that. My ex used to cook for me all the time. How come you don't? My ex kept the house clean all the time. You don't. My ex made a lot more money than you do. My ex knew how to take care of their car. You don't. Whatever it is, they're going to start actually comparing the new supply, surprise, surprise, to you, to the good things that you had brought to the relationship. They're going to say all those, not that they appreciated it while they were with you, but it helps them to then criticize the new supply. And that's the life the new supply is living in. I know that, Miss Miller, that it seems like they're moving on to the stranger so easily, so quickly, and they cut you out completely, is because they have to build this fantasy world. They have to build a weird, crazy fantasy world where they were the victim of your marriage. They did not abuse you. They did not hurt you. You deserved everything that they did to you. And even if they come clean a little bit, and I did this in my previous Happy Crappy Hour, I think it was number 33, even if they come clean a little bit, they'll share with the stranger or the new supply their little part in why your marriage broke up. Okay, they're going to say something about themselves. I guess I could have spent more time with the family. I guess I could have kept the house cleaner. I guess I could have been more affectionate. I guess I could whatever. They're going to say a few things to the new supply that makes the new supply feel like they're confiding in them, like some deep part and vulnerable part of your marriage. And none of that is really even vulnerable, honestly. None of it's vulnerable. It's just, to them, it doesn't matter if everybody knows that part, because they can then explain your most heinous actions were so much worse than what they did. Okay, so none of that was them actually being vulnerable. And so, as you were saying, well, how can they move on so quickly? How can they cut you out completely, even after 19 years of marriage? Because they have to build this new identity, this new fake fantasy for them to live in. So you guys, let me see where we are now. C. Thomas says, yes, I was love bombed for 2 years. One of the reasons it's harder to let go. Yes, right? The new supply that gets the longest love bomb, the deeper love bomb, the more intricate or financially, um, not just financially, because we talked about also starting families with them, once they're tied so much more deeply and have so many more ties to the narcissist, it's so much harder once the narcissist discards them as well. So much harder for the new supply. Jihad says, I didn't care at all because I wanted her out of my life long before that because of all the craziness, and I got my kids, so I was good. Woohoo! That is a successful story. I am so glad that that occurred for you. I think for some of us, that's also the truth, because you get to the point where you've been abused and neglected or rejected or criticized, whatever, for so long that then you're tired, you're done, you're ready to move on. So by the time they discard you, or you're ready to jump ship, you're ready to leave this toxicity behind, you don't feel jealous of the next person coming in. You're actually like, good luck to you guys, because thank God I am out of there. Thank goodness I am gone from all of that craziness. And that really is the truth for all of us. It's just that not all of us arrive at that, or not all of us receive that truth. Some of us will continue to live in this fake lie, the lie that the new supply is doing so much better. The new supply is receiving so much more than you receive. All the stuff that we want, that makes us jealous of the new supply. Crystal says, yep, like you never existed. Yeah, when they leave you, no mourning the relationship like a normal person. Just on to the next one. That's the most confusing and hurtful part before you discover what narcissism is. You know what, you guys? That point right there, what concerns me is our culture is getting to the point where narcissistic, let me think, what would you call that? Cures, I guess, if you will, to heartache, is to do just that, like jump into another person's bed immediately. And how many times have you heard it on TV, on shows too, right? They come up with these little taglines, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone, that crap, that's not the best way, by the way. That's the most destructive way. And people think, well, no, it's not. It's free loving, free spirited, free this and that. Nothing is free in life, by the way, right? Nothing. So when you think, oh, I'm just jumping into bed with somebody immediately, what you don't realize is, one, either that other person thinks then that you're in a relationship and here now you're the one using them, or two, you build a connection with that person, because being physical with someone is a huge connection, whether you want to admit it or not, right? You start to feel a connection with them, or you feel vulnerable because they've seen you naked, right? You feel vulnerable, and you build this connection with them. And now when you see them all around town, you're wondering what they're thinking of you, especially if they didn't call you back, especially if it seemed like they just used you for whatever that night and they move on. You're going to feel like crap. You just are. So getting under somebody immediately is the narcissist way of dealing with heartache, okay, of dealing with pain. And it's a destructive way, because it turns into something ugly. It turns into something ugly for one or both of you. And it's not good. It's just not good. So my concern is that the culture is getting to the point where people are using people more and more and thinking that that's okay, because everybody is now liberated and everybody is now free loving, and everybody just, do your thing and enjoy whatever moment you're in. But that doesn't build lasting relationships. That doesn't build lasting connections. That just is the narcissist dream world, you guys. That is a narcissist dream playground, to be able to go in, sleep with whoever they want, whenever they want, and move on to the next shiny person that comes into, along their path. No. Anyway, just wanted to tell you guys that and point that out. I'm sure you already realize it. Jihad says, yeah, my ex did the same thing, thinking it was going to hurt me, but I screenshot everything and showed it to the court. Oh, wait, I missed something. Oh, okay. It's the whole hold back. Okay, no, okay. I guess it has to do with like you never exist. I screenshot everything and showed it to the court, and they didn't give her the spouse support she wanted in court fees. Oh, I'm not quite sure what the screenshot had on it. Crystal Jean says, yes, because they smear us to the new supply while we adore them and wait on them hand and foot. Yes, not just wait on them hand and foot, but we wait for them at the door. We're waiting for them to come back to us. We hate the new supply so bad. We are so jealous of the new supply. We're, putting down the new supply. There's no way they could possibly love the new supply the way they loved me. And we will stand at the door. When we're not willing to admit that we're just jealous, when we're not willing to admit that the blame really goes to the narcissist, we will wait at the door for the narcissist to come back into our life once they're tired of the new supply, and then we get used again. So that's where I want to show and point out to you that it's so hurtful towards yourself to be jealous of the new supply, to put the blame solely on the new supply, and to let the narcissist off scot-free. They're not innocent of this, right? The narcissist, your narcissistic ex, your toxic ex, they are not innocent of cheating on you, okay? They were looking for someone to cheat with, okay? So put the blame where it belongs. Jihad says, because she lied and said she was alone and needed support and all that. LOL, it backfired big time. Oh, so she wasn't alone. She was cheating with someone. Good thing that you got screenshots of that. C. Thomas says, I told the new supply lots of negative. Your ex told the new supply lots of negative things about you. Lots of smearing. Yeah. Crystal says, that's exactly why my sons aren't speaking to him. He promised them he wasn't dating and was getting better. Sex addiction and staying single and becoming a better man. All the while he was dating multiples. Yeah. C. Thomas says, even smear before he left, just so new supply knows why he's leaving me for good reason. Yeah. And that's why you don't get involved with a married person, because you're not really hearing both sides, okay? Once, you get involved after. They are not a great catch, okay? They are just not a great catch while they're still involved, and it's still this disaster. And if they're willing to fill that spot with anybody, say you might think, oh, I'm missing out if I don't get involved with this married person right now, who seems to be such a great person. If I don't get involved with them right now, somebody else is going to get that spot. If it's that interchangeable, if that spot, doesn't matter to the narcissist who fills that spot and they can't wait for you, then you just dodged a bullet. You just dodged a bullet. Because if that spot is so easily filled, if they can just say, yeah, whoever wants to cheat with me, I will fill the spot with whoever's willing, then they're not going to treat that person well. They may look on the outside, seem like on the outside to be such a great catch, but they're not. You have to face reality. If they're cheating on their spouse, if they're sneaking around, if they're hiding you, if they're hiding other lovers from you, they are not such a great catch. Okay. Jihad says, I'm not at that stage yet because my kids are 3 and 4, but when they get older, they will see how she really is. Yeah. C. Thomas says, their MO says he was depressed and emotional stress with me. So this was why she felt sorry for him. Yep. Holographic, hello. Good to see you. My immortal beloveds. That's sweet. Okay, Crystal says, unfortunate, my boys are older this time around. They really see him for what he is. When he left me for the first affair, they were 1 and 4. Oh my gosh. Yep. Stacy, good morning. So glad that you're joining us. Says, yes, very much. I know he has someone I left 65 days ago. Wow. Yeah, that's really fresh for you there, Stacy. 65 days ago. You're going to make it. I want to give you hope of that. I'm so glad that you're here to hear all this truth right now and to join the discussion, because this may be a very common pitfall. It is such a common pitfall. You may find yourself in it, but don't fall into the blaming the new supply, being so focused, laser focused on the new supply that you forget the blame that belongs on the X. Okay, don't forget that. Lady Bobannon says the new supply has been given the starring role, but the understudy is always in waiting. Woo, that's a good point. That's a good way of putting it. Absolutely. It's this. Tiff says, what is this? Yeah. Says, good morning, everyone. Hi, good morning to you. So glad that you're here. C. Thomas says, my daughter doesn't want to talk to him anymore because of how he up and left. Yeah. Okay, Tiff says, the new supply in my life is insecure, and I keep telling the ex that she doesn't need to be like this. I don't know. Both drama, royalty. Wow. Okay. So you have interaction with the new supply. Oh my gosh. That's another thing too, by the way, is the new supply a lot of times is more naive. A lot of times also a lot younger because they're easier to manipulate. They don't have as much life experience. They're not as skeptical, right? So your ex is going to want somebody who is going to be bouncy and happy and ignorant of pain and abuse. So of course they're going to latch on to a much younger version, right? Possibly even of you, and think that this is the way, they're going to get incredible, wonderful, amazing supply. But that kind of supply only lasts for a while. It's just amazing to me that narcissists don't realize that their supply grows up. Their new supply grows up. Once the new supply reaches their 30s, all kinds of, even upper 20s, all kinds of emotional baggage starts to come out. And in their 30s, they're trying to figure things out, right? They're going to be dumping out all this emotional baggage, and the narcissist is going to be like, what the heck? Where did this come from? You used to be so bouncy and happy and full of life, and they're not going to be able to handle reality. They're not going to be able to handle emotional growth, psychological growth, spiritual growth with the new supply, because growing has pain, painful moments. There are growing pains when we mature. So anyway, yep, the narcissist finds people right in the point where they might be needy, they might be just really young and immature, just like the narcissist, and just easier to manipulate. C. Thomas says, the new supply actually had an inheritance he knew about, so it's money why he left until it's done. He'll do the same to her. See, yeah, exactly. It's really horrible that they will do that. Tiff says, I hope the new supply gives the ex heaps so that he stops sending in the flying monkeys. Heaps. Oh, herpes? I don't understand. Heaps of what? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Stacy says, I'm sure I'll never hear from mine again because I discarded him. Yeah, you may not, and that's a good thing. You have to remember why you discarded him, okay, Stacy? If it was stuff that you just could not live with for the rest of your life, realize, and you had seen that they weren't changing, your ex wasn't changing, realize you did the right thing. So, so let's talk about this. What do we do? What do we do if we find ourselves jealous of the new supply? First thing you do is you stop looking. Stop looking. Stop going on social media just to check to see if they're still together. Stop, dropping questions or hints around mutual friends to get information on them. Stop going to places you might run into them. Stop doing that. You have to avoid. You have to go no contact. You have to you have to block them also from your social media so their stuff doesn't come up as news feed for you. Okay, so that is the biggest step that you can do if you're feeling jealous when you look over there at the new supply, right? When you're thinking about the new supply. So that will help you, think less about the new supply, right? Not be thinking all the time about the new supply. But also, you then have to start focusing on yourself. You have to focus on healing yourself. You have to focus on doing fun things for yourself. Excuse me, I'm a little bit burpy here. Excuse me. So, if you pick up some new things, start, or even cleaning your house, right? Just clean out your basement, clean out your closets, clear out junk in your life, the clutter in your life. If you clear out the physical clutter in your life, it will start to affect you emotionally and psychologically and spiritually. It's like clearing spiritual clutter out of your mind, or mental clutter as well. When you clear physical clutter, it's really healing. So that's a second thing that you can do when you start feeling this jealousy come over you, this bitterness, this anger. First of all, be truthful about it. Tell yourself it's jealousy. That's what it is. And you don't want to be jealous, because that's stupid, right? Why be jealous of somebody who just inherited the gypsy curse? Why be jealous of that? So don't be jealous of that. Second of all, don't look at them. Because if you're looking at them, you're going to see the shiny new car, you're going to see a new baby, you're going to see a new house, whatever, right? You're going to see that they had this beautiful, fabulous wedding, whatever it might be. Don't look. So number 2 is don't look, because that just spurs on more jealousy. Don't look. Number 3 is work on yourself. Do something for you. Clear out your house. Clear out a closet. It just feels so good. Clean up your bathroom counter, so that every morning when you wake up, you're not seeing tons of clutter all over your bathroom counter. You're going to see something nice and clean, and then go out and get some, a few nice things to put on your counter to keep it organized, right? Get a nice toothbrush holder, get a nice soap holder, get a nice washcloths or hand towels, get a new set of towels, so that when you wake up in the morning, you walk into your bathroom, it just feels like a resort. Buy yourself a something that makes it feel like a resort. If you want to get incense holders, if you want to get candles, if you want to get a pretty light fixture, something that soothes you, so do that. Number 3 was focus on yourself. Do something good for yourself. Cleaning out clutter, but also doing new things for yourself. Get into healthier eating, start focusing on your physical health, start focusing on your mental health. Go, treat yourself to counseling, honestly, right? Treat yourself to 3 or 4 sessions, or 4 or 6 sessions of counseling, or life coaching, or go out and join groups of people who like to be active, because that'll get you out and active as well. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you guys about. Okay, Stacy says, why am I feeling guilty that I left? I don't know why I'm feeling guilty, because a lot of times he was good, but then he would get verbally and physically abusive and call me every name in the book. Oh, Stacy. Oh my gosh. This so important for you. Okay, I have a recommendation for you. Write out a list of the things that he did that was physically and verbally abusive. Write it out. And if you even, if it happened every birthday, if it happened every Christmas, if it happened every whatever time of the day, where he became abusive, write that down. Write down all that negative stuff, because we tend to stay, while we were with the narcissist, we tend to focus on the positive stuff they did. And we make excuses for their negative stuff. Like, oh, they were just having a bad day, or someone cut them off in traffic, so they came home in a bad mood, and that's why they were yelling at me. Well, even if somebody cuts them off in traffic, why are they yelling at you when you get home? You're the one who's there for them. They need to learn, they need to grow up, right? They need to mature and learn not to take their anger and frustrations out on people they love. It's absolutely ridiculous. that we make these excuses for them or accept these excuses from them. So don't feel guilty that you left. Make a list. When you start to feel guilty, look at that list. When you start to feel, like you want to go back, look at that list. When you start to feel sorry for your ex, look at that list. Okay? You do not deserve to be abused for the rest of your life. You just don't deserve that. And think of this, if he was doing this to your best friend, right? If you knew your best friend's husband was doing this to her, would you tell her that she should feel guilty for leaving? Yeah, that's a really, really good way to think about it. So often we love ourselves the least. We take care of ourselves last. We let other people have free reign over us because we feel like we're strong, we can take it. We just do not have as much empathy for ourselves as we do for other people. So think about that. Every time you start to feel guilty, put somebody you love in your place and see if you would tell them they should feel guilty. And I think that will help snap you out of that. That will help you realize, oh, it's okay not to feel guilty. Oh my gosh, you guys, there is such, sadly, such power in guilt. Negative power, right? Such controlling, horrible, destructive power in guilt. Do not feel guilty for doing the right thing. This is why I have recommended the boundaries books so much in almost all of my videos now. I recommend these books because it teaches you how to draw boundaries with consequences, by the way, because a boundary without a consequence is just nagging. So how it teaches you how to draw. My foot is rubbing against this table leg, so it sounds a little weird. Just want to let you know. Yeah, the boundaries books teach you how to develop these boundaries with consequences, because what we often do is we think, oh, but boundaries are mean, consequences are mean, and we feel guilty. We feel guilty for putting, up boundaries. But boundaries prevent enabling. Boundaries actually create healthier relationships. Boundaries help your ex even. They help the other person. If you, and not just your ex, they help your children, they help your spouse, they help your relationships, your friends, to be respectful and not be users. They will help abusers stop abusing. Okay, that's what boundaries do. So a boundary isn't just, oh, I took off and I left, and the end of that. The boundary comes before that. The boundaries now, if you have left and if it's all done, your relationship and all that, it's not too late to learn how to make healthy boundaries so that you can have healthy relationships from this point on, and with the relationships you still have in your life. You want to make sure that you have healthy boundaries there. And these boundaries are not just to keep people out, it's also to keep good people in. And it's also to keep you from overstepping other people's boundaries. Like once you learn what healthy boundaries are, you will tend to stop being the person or a person who oversteps boundaries as well. So, it's a win-win for everybody in your life. It's a win for you. It's a win for the other person. So that's what I want to encourage you with. Tiff says, the ex has made a stalker out of her. Oh no. I think it's funny, trying to make me jealous, and she expected to have my ex to herself. But then he ended up with our child. This made her angry. Whoa. How did he end up with your child? I guess I'm not following that. In that he has to also take care of the child. So now she has to share attention. Oh my gosh, yeah. Tiff says, I'm not jealous. That's the trait of insecurity. I am happy for them. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. That is so healthy for you. If you can get to that point and I know it's really hard. Just, wish them well. And I've said this a few times. I've said this since I started this channel, very early. I think it was the um, let me think. I think it was why the new supply is doomed. I think it was that video where in there somewhere or near the end, I say, just wish them well. And the reason for that is then that frees you from the connection, the anger, the jealousy, the bitterness, the resentment. It frees you of all of that. And you are no longer connected by those negative, dark, horrible ties to the narcissist or the new supply. Just wish them well. Just be like, I hope it works out for you, because this whole world would be a much better place if narcissists were not total jerks and were not out there using people, and could finally be healed and figure out how to grow up, right? This world would be such a better place. So just wish them well. C. Thomas says, sorry, Crystal, same here. Sad I beat myself up sometimes. Why was I with this man, especially knowing he's my daughter's father, tormenting? But I see the lesson from it. Lot of time wasted. Oh, Stacy says, I feel jealous because she's getting the love bombing and he's loving her and won't even talk to me. Yep. But you know what, Stacy? She's getting the love bombing just like, you may not remember it from the beginning of your relationship. Same as when you got it, before he started unleashing the verbal and physical abuse. And that verbal and physical abuse side of him will continue into this relationship. They're not going to show it to everybody. Of course, he's going to go out in the front yard and start punching her or start yelling, nasty names at her. He's going to do it behind closed doors. And then when she comes out of the house, he's going to put his arm around her and tell her she's beautiful and say these things in front of other people. So she knows, though, what he's like behind closed doors. You know what he's like behind closed doors. And that's why it's really important to make that list. Write that list of what he had done with you. So whenever you start to feel jealous, look at that list, because he didn't just do it to you. This is who he is. This is what he will take into that relationship. Crystal says, Stacy, it's not easy. I get it. There had to be some good parts or we wouldn't have stayed as long as we did. It makes it confusing, but you got to remember the abuse and toxicity only. You really do. You have to focus on, I'm all for forgiveness and forgiving and forgetting. I'm totally for that, okay? But that's only for people who are actually changing. That's for people who are making strides and making progress in changing their abusive nature, in actually healing their abusive nature. That, the forgiving and forgetting is not for people who continue to abuse and make excuses for why they need or should continue to abuse. Because there's no forgetting. How can you forget when something's continuous, right? Continually happening. Yeah. So, Tiff says, it's all a lie. Living out a fantasy of someone else pulls you away from your true potential, calling in life. Yep. Holographic says, I have a different view. Put up and shut up, or don't put up and be free. Be free and live your life as a free being. Yes. Live and let live. Yes. Reality is we no longer need each other for survival. There are many options. C. Thomas says, yes, they will come back and hoover for what they can get from you. Yeah, so you got to be careful of that as well. So we tend to leave that door open. We tend to stand at the door waiting for them to come back if we don't recognize the part they had in why your relationship fell apart, right? If we put the blame entirely on the new supply because we're jealous of them, we will miss out on the part on facing the reality that the narcissist and toxic ex you had earned the dissolution of your relationship, because they contributed to it. They caused the dissolution of your relationship or the destruction of your relationship, right? So it wasn't necessarily the new supply that destroyed your relationship. Your relationship was, you know, not a good place by the time the new supply gets there. And even if you thought you were deceived and you thought it was in a good place, because oh my gosh, I watched a video about this guy who was having an affair. I think he was some famous soccer player in Great Britain, and he had this beautiful wife and three boys, and I think it was three boys, but they had this beautiful life. Everybody loved him. He was doing some kind of cooking channel for healthy eating for athletes, I guess. So he had a lot of really good things happening, but everybody knew he was cheating on his wife for years. Years. The wife had no clue. I don't know if she was just living in a fantasy world of, just beauty and joy and all that. Come to find out, she did say in the interview, the wife that said in the interview that he was very controlling at home. Like everything had to be his way. Like she was willing to live that way. She was willing to not have a voice. She was willing to not have a life separate from him, and that any decision that was not made by him, could not exist. She could not make her own decisions. So she was willing to live this way. And yet she thought this was a beautiful life, and then this other person that he had an affair with, she's not to blame for the destruction of the marriage. The marriage was already destroyed. That's what I'm trying to say. If he was controlling, if he was already cheating on her, if he's cheating on her, what kind of attention was he giving her at home? Other than criticism. And that I'm sure she got a lot of if he was so controlling. So, now he's in jail because he ended up murdering the mistress, because the mistress moved on. She's like, I'm done, I've moved on. So nobody wins in this. And for the wife, for her to feel any anger towards the mistress, not that I'm saying that she does, but for her to focus only on the mistress would be so wrong. I hope you can see that. It's not the mistress that caused the destruction of the marriage. It was this guy. He did it. He was a total jerk. He was a control freak. He was critical and mean towards his wife if she didn't perform. So she always had to perform as a good wife. And she did. She was the ultimate, face to the marriage that made the marriage look good and healthy and happy. And everybody thought it was. That's how deceiving relationships with narcissists are. Okay? Because on the outside, Stacy, you might think, oh, she's receiving all of this and I'm feeling jealous. Know that she's also receiving the same junk that you received behind closed doors, because the outside part is just a facade. Holographic says, look, many of these creatures just can't survive alone. They're too stupid. I don't mind helping them here and there, even as exes, but I don't want anything in return. It's my charity to this realm. And I would agree with this, because whatever you give to somebody, you have to see it as this is what you're willing to give. It is a charity. And it's not just to the narcissist, but if you're willing to give to somebody, just give without strings. And especially with a narcissist, because you don't want to be tied to a narcissist in any way. Whatever you give it what you're willing to give. Okay, and no more. Stacy says, do you think they try to come back even if you know what they are, and you left them and you really did a narcissistic injury? Do they ever try? Yeah, they do try, because they want to know. It depends. Like they will try if they have absolutely nobody else to fall back on. If they see that you have built yourself up and you now have money to take care of them, if you have assets, if you have real estate, if you have anything at all that they think would make their life easier or better, that would propel them in their career somehow, right? If say you get elected to whatever city council, or I don't know, whatever, you get some publicity, and they want that publicity for themselves. They know that being connected to you will open doors for them. Yeah, they'll try to come back. But Stacy, I know you're only 65 days, I think you set out. make that list. Make that list for why you left, because you're going to need that when or if he tries to come back. You're going to need to see reality. Okay, so be careful with that. Be very careful. It never ends up better the second time. Everybody that I have seen or talked with or have heard comments from that had gone back a second, third, fourth time says that it just gets worse every time. Tiff says, my ex tried to hoover earlier this week, but I shut it down. I seemed cold because he used our child as an excuse. This tells me that the new supply is still not up to standards. Yes, right? So why should we feel jealous of new supply, right? We know they have to perform, and we don't have to perform anymore for someone who's not going to appreciate us. Oh my gosh, we dodged that bullet, or we passed on, sadly enough, the gypsy curse. Angel, good to see you. It's been a while. You guys, our hour is up, but I'm going to give us another 10 minutes or so. I'm going to let you wrap up your comments, and I'm going to read a few comments. Tiff says, now that I've called the new supply and my ex out on their stalking on social media, the new supply has become really quiet. Oh, that's nice. Very cool. Good way to use social media back. Crystal says, see Thomas, he hoovers by trying to get pity from me now. LOL. He's so low. No sun in his skies. Blah, blah, blah. He doesn't realize how clear his tactics are to me now. Such power, this knowledge. Yes, isn't that true? Once you recognize their little pity parties that they throw, their manipulations, and to try to get us, one, to feel sorry for them, two, to feel guilty, or three, to feel like we're missing out. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Once we see that, we can see through their ploys. We're like, oh, I'm not missing out at all. I know I'm not missing out. I see the picture of him, whatever, mountain biking here and there, or her. I see her on the lake in this shiny, beautiful new boat, water skiing. Yeah, you're just not taken in by that. You know that at some point during the day, yes, they got that one snapshot of a fun moment. And then the rest of the day was filled with arguing. And then the ride home was probably a disaster. And then when they got home, things were probably thrown. I mean, absolute crazy town, you guys, right? Once you know what to look for, their tactics just don't work. Their ploys just don't work. C. Thomas says, yes, Tiff, when getting bored by new supply, they'll hoover back. Yeah. Oh, Angel says she is not not jealous. I feel sorry for them all. Yes. Yes, that's a much healthier place to be. If we feel sorry for them, doesn't mean that we are guilted into doing something for them. Just feel like, what, they made their bed, they have to sleep in it. They created this problem, they have to reap the consequences. You feel sorry for them, but you don't have to go in there and rescue them from their own consequences. Rescuing them from their own consequences because you feel guilty only enables people further. So don't do that. So, but I'm not saying that you are doing that. I'm just saying, those who are listening, who are feeling tempted to swoop in and rescue and whatever, don't don't feel that way. Don't feel obligated. Glenn Wade, good to see you. Let me see. Okay, Glenn Wade said, the new supply is willing to submit and live a lie for benefits. I look down on them. Yes, right? Exactly. The story I was telling you about the crime in England where the soccer player, famous soccer guy, I don't think he made it into, well, I guess he did, but I don't know. He's got businesses going and whatever. He seems very successful, has a beautiful house, beautiful wife, all that. The wife was willing to live a total lie and submit to him in order to have those benefits. And it's so sad. And of course he comes out, oh my gosh, he had it in him to murder. He had it in him. He could have killed his wife. And actually she did say in the interview that before he ended up murdering his mistress who left him, he followed her to a town she moved to. Oh wait, maybe it was Australia. I think it might have been Australia. So he went to a different town that she had moved to, and in order to murder her there. I mean, absolute crazy. He had this in him. Well, the wife said that before he did that, I don't know, like a week before or whatever, sometime right before that, they were in bed and he put a pillow over the wife's face, scared the crap out of her because she thought he was going to smother her to death. And he says to her, oh my gosh, something like, I would never do this to you. And here he is doing this, and she's like, what the heck was that? You know what? So long as she submitted, so long as she played her part, so long as she was willing to live the lie that he wanted her to live and put out the facade, like you guys, you know, all of you who think that the narcissist is having this beautiful life and the new supply is having a beautiful life, this woman had to put out this facade, this picture of, I'm so happy and he's the best husband ever and he just loves me so much and I'm so lucky to have him. She put that picture out. This guy who was capable of killing her all that time and actually did kill his mistress. And now he's in prison and he wanted his wife to lie for him and hide evidence and all this stuff. I'll tell you what that means. That means he doesn't care what happens to her. He doesn't care if she gets put in jail for helping him for, yeah, because narcissists don't care about other people's safety. They just don't. You think they love you. They don't love you. They love what you can do for them. So you guys, oh my gosh, Laura, good to see you. C. Thomas says, they like to look for young supplies or exes because of the ties they have with them. Or new ties, right, that they can build with them. Tiff says, yes, I've had interaction on social media, but she uses fake accounts and her friends are there too. They chased me up on YouTube channels. Doesn't bother me now. I know it's her by the comments. Wow. Yeah, I try, you know, I'm glad that you guys keep the comments clean and supportive and positive, and please just continue to do that. If I see people behaving really badly on these channels or something like that, I will remove them or their comments, you know. So yeah, because I just don't think that this is a good place. I mean, this is supposed to be a safe place, and I know it's open to everybody, but it's a place for healing, it's a place for support, and it's a place to find people who understand where you are. So I'm so glad that you guys are all here. Crystal says, LOL, he thinks I'm not communicating because I'm mad or hurt. Nope, it's called no contact, stupid. He keeps saying I'm not communicating with him. Yeah, there's no need to communicate with them. Absolutely agree. Laura says, once new supply stops giving them attention, that's when they'll change. Laura, I would add also, I agree with you with that, but I would also add that the new supply will start to get on the narcissist's nerves, because narcissists are very critical people. They're going to complain about how the new supply, I don't know, makes the bed. They're going to complain about how the new supply puts dishes away. They're going to complain about how the new supply makes lemonade. Who knows, right? Not sweet enough, too sour, whatever. They're going to start complaining. They don't like the way the new supply is dressing. They don't like the extra 2 pounds the new supply put on. I mean, they're already getting agitated by the new supply. So yeah, and the new supply has to deal with that. Tiff Roberts says, I've never stalked them ever. I'm not insecure or jealous. Heck, I don't even know their names. Oh, good. Come on, the ex has more than one new intimate lover. Yes. And she puts a big laughing face on there. You guys, sounds to me like you get it. Sounds to me like you get it. So I'm very glad that we had this discussion. I hope you understand. Hey, Obi-Wan, how are you guys? Yeah, I'm only seeing this now. Yeah, the secret lives. They have secret lives. The life they show you in public is not the real life. It's the snapshot. Anybody can look good on a picture for a few seconds. What happens outside of those few seconds is, the reality is just ugly. It really is. Obi-Wan says, I'm happy for the new supply because I learned how to observe people and seen the same pattern and told it so long. You did me so wrong. Yeah. So you guys, it is time. Oh, I did get a lot of your comments in, so I'm glad that you have gotten in here. Eyes wide shut. Hi. Says, I am 100% no contact, although I'd love to play some mind games with her. No, don't do it. It's not worth it. You don't want to become like them, okay? Don't stoop. There's truth to the saying, take the high road. Just take the high road. You will be so much better off. Ice White Shirt said, she will have to go out of her way to get me to see her and the new supply. Yeah. So that's good that if you can avoid them. Oh my gosh, Obi-Wan says, I'm never alone. Thanks to my narc, now I have conversations with the voices in my head. LOL, JK. Just kidding. Yeah. We do though, because they played such a mental game on us that we have to fight that in our minds, a mental battle. It really is. You guys, you are doing great. I'm so glad to hear you guys are moving forward and doing good things now with your, with your life. Gamer Christina, good to see you. Just skimming through. I'm not really able to read all the comments. We are quite over our time. I'm thinking, it would be nice to do longer ones, but I guess I don't see why we shouldn't, right? Crystal says, I couldn't focus on school, work, or barely function, and he was using that, and still is, by the way, to smear me and get everyone to feel sorry for him because I wasn't making money. Whoa. And he wants to communicate with you, and he's wondering why you stopped communicating with him? Yeah. I can, once you get to this point, Crystal, right, it becomes very clear, and we don't want anything to do with them. Laura says, my ex didn't like that I had men friends. Yeah. Obi-Wan says, I'm lucky I had time to play their game. I don't quite understand that you even had the time to do it. Oh, that you didn't have time maybe to play their game? I don't know. Oh, Laura said, he always said I was cheating with them. Oh, the men friends. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. I'm kind of on the border with that too. Male friends, and there's a time I think we can have friends, but we just need, of the opposite sex, or if your partner is the same sex and you have friends of the same sex, yeah, friends gets a little slippery if you spend any intimate time with them, if you share intimate information with them. So that should only be shared with your partner. Yep. Oh yeah, Laura says her intuition kept telling me to let go for years. I should have listened. Yeah, I have a video on that called Listen to Your Gut. It's actually about going back to the narcissist. Don't go back to them. Listen to your gut. Yeah. Well, you guys, I am way over. Oh, what's this? Old Narc. Harriet, good to see you. Welcome. Says old Narc invited me to a venue where he knew I will see him and end the new supply. Wait, and I'm sorry. Old Narc invited me to a venue where he knew I would see him and the new supply. I refused. Good for you. Excellent. Because you have to avoid them, and the heck with that. Don't get caught in their mind games. Harris says they don't change, guys. Nope, they don't. They just don't change. Yeah. Well, you guys, Crystal says, thank you so much, Escape. You guys are so welcome. You are so welcome, Crystal. I am so happy that you guys came on today. Many blessings to you. I hope that we all got some clarity here. Don't be jealous of the new supply. Absolutely no reason to. All the pictures they're posting, even if they got a new house, new car, vacationing, whatever they're doing, doesn't matter. It's a snapshot. There's so many people out there who love to show just a snapshot, and then behind closed doors, life is a nightmare with them. We know it. We've experienced it. So we don't have to lie to ourselves about it anymore. Blessings to you. Remember to live your best life, chase your excellence, do what's good for you. You know, clear out that closet, clean out your bathroom counter, you know, make your place a resort and enjoy your life. Just enjoy your life. You have your whole life ahead of you. This is a beautiful thing. So many, many blessings to you, and I will see you guys next week.